Hello, Enrich community. Welcome back to the Enrich podcast. This is your virtual bestie, Simran, your favorite podcast host. This is the show where we discuss mental health, personal development, spirituality, confidence, you name it. All the episodes really help you upgrade your life on a personal development level. So very excited about today's topic. This episode, we will talk about a topic that is very close to my heart, which is friendships in your 30s and relationships in general, but more focused on friendships and how we can really navigate through the uncertainty and challenges and friendship breakups that a lot of people really don't talk about. We will also talk about what healthy relationships look like, the green flags that you should look for in a relationship, and how friendships really shift from 20s to your 30s as well. And if you're someone who is in their late teens or early 20s, or even in your 30s, you're just in your early 30s, this episode is going to be a resource for you, or, is going to give you a head start as well of the meaningful relationships that you should be forming. And there's nothing wrong with that if you are in your late teens and early 20s and you're watching this and you're like, wow, I never thought about it, how relationships can really impact your mental health and overall life in general. So grab your coffee or tea, get cozy on your couch. If you're out for a walk, that's very exciting. And if you're driving right now, amazing. This is going to be a very interesting topic to delve into and something that a lot of people are still not talking about. It's segment number 1 is all about how friendships really change from your 20s to your 30s. No one really tells us that this could be happening in your life. And I think it is so important and useful to talk about how to navigate through these transitions and changes that are taking place in your life with all the other stuff that's also taking place in your life. So let's start by talking about how friendships really evolve as we transition from our 20s into our 30s. If you really think back to your 20s, you'll notice that friendships were all about hanging out, having fun together, maybe even traveling, and having shared experiences, right? Like friends at work, university, or through mutual connections, or maybe you've been friends with this person for as long as you can remember, or since elementary or high school. We know it is so easy sometimes to bond over shared interest or other people or trauma. There's so many ways that you can bond over. Something really shifts when we hit our 30s. Many of us are focused on building careers. It could be starting families, or diving deep into our spiritual and personal development growth. And this is where usually friendships really tend to narrow into those that really align more deeply with our values, our life goals, and the person that we're becoming. Really believe that this transition really starts happening in our early to mid 20s, but we don't really have the capacity or the resources to really think about why we feel the way that we're feeling sometimes. And it really intensifies actually when we hit our 30s or closer to our 30s. And this really happened with me as well. Guess what? This is completely normal. Okay. And let me bring some research here. According to a study that was published in the journal Psychological Science, social circles naturally shrink as we age. But the friendships that we maintain, they actually tend to deepen. Quality of our relationships and friendships become more important than the quantity. It's less about having a large group of friends and more about the few meaningful connections that truly support our life and growth. In section number 2, I really want to talk about green flags in friendships and what does healthy really look like. Because I believe there are so many examples out there what an unhealthy relationship could look like. It's so easy to fall into the trap of societal pressure and societal standards that we have. Everyone just operates like that, the type of mindset and identity that we have around things. And I personally believe that we are the creators of our own life. We are all here to find meaningful relationships. We're all here to create our own reality. And we have the right, human right, to attract the type of people that really aligns with our values, our life goals, career, our relationships, and overall life view. So what does a healthy relationship really look like in your 30s? What are some green flags that let you know that friendship is worth nurturing as you continue to grow? Number 1 thing I found that it is all about emotional safety. At the green flags is emotional safety. Because the reason is a true friend is someone you really feel comfortable being your authentic self, where you don't have to put on a mask. In fact, these friendships nourish your nervous system, bring a sense of calm and connection. What want you to actually take a few seconds to really reflect on the relationships that you have right now. They bring sense of calm and connectedness in your life. Feel like you have this pressure of being the person that you're not. Does it actually help you spiritually level up or, help you grow as individuals instead of just shrinking yourself just to fit into that circle? That leads me to my number 2 green flag, which is mutual growth. Your 30s, healthy friendships are all about growth. And I'm telling you, speaking from experience, both individually and together. Does your friend support you, your life goals, push you to be a better person? Does your friend give you a different perspective on life or, a situation that you're dealing with? Can they actually help you navigate through those challenges? Mutual encouragement is a huge green flag. And this one is huge. It is all about respecting boundaries. We are so much more protective of our time and energy in our 30s. Just like you're growing, the other person is also responsible for their growth. But things are not really changing and they're just so caught up with how the relationships have been for the past 10 years or past few years or how it has always been, then it's going to really impact your personal growth. Friends who respect your time, your space, and your emotional boundaries are the ones that you should really hold on to. As I'm going through some friendship breakups or realizations that how some friendships or some relationships in my life have impacted me, I've been realizing how some people never really valued or respected my emotional boundaries. It's so important for you to also reflect on why you allowed that in your life. Do enough of a good job to communicate that? Have you spoken clearly about your values? Have you talked about what's important to you? And if you have, and you feel like it's still not working out, then you absolutely have the right to distance yourself, and if you feel like it's still impacting your mental health or still impacting your day-to-day life, then you have all the right to remove yourself from that situation. Now let's move on to segment number 3, and we're going to be talking about friendships and how they impact our nervous system. Let's really talk about the mind, body, soul connection here. Have you ever noticed how some friends leave you feeling energized and uplifted while others drain you completely? This isn't just a mental experience. Your friendships are directly impacting your nervous system. When you feel safe, you feel seen and supported by a friend, your body produces oxytocin, is a love hormone. It really helps you calm your nervous system. Just like when you hug someone, your loved one, and you feel so calm, it's just like that. Someone else's nervous system can really impact you as well. If you find yourself anxious or stressed around certain people, that's your body's way of telling you that this friendship or relationship may not be aligned with your well-being anymore. It brings me to something a lot of people experience but don't really talk about. Friendship breakups are a thing. We really tend to associate breakups with romantic relationships, but losing a close friend can be just as painful, sometimes even more so. If you're going through this right now or you're unsure about certain friendships, I want you to know that's okay. It's okay to be in this place where you're going through a transition. You're really figuring out what is right for you, what isn't. And I want you to know that friendship breakups or transitions are incredibly common, especially in your 30s. And as you grow and evolve, not everyone is meant to go on that journey with you. This is maybe a major transition in your life where you're becoming more intentional about who you surround yourself with. If you start to feel like there's this shift happening in your late 20s or early 30s, it is likely because your priorities are changing. You might be more focused on long-term goals, your health, your career, or just protecting your energy in general. Let me give you some quick tips on how you can navigate uncertainty in friendships. Number 1 thing you need to do, I'm going to list this quickly. Reflect on alignment. Ask yourself, does this friendship really align with who you're becoming? Do you feel uplifted or supported by this person, or do you feel drained after you hang out with that person or feel anxious? Number 2 is open communication. Are you able to openly speak about like what is important to you and what is important to them? Or is it just all about the other person all the time? And you are always left feeling like my voice is never heard. Feel like you never have an honest conversation with them. And the last one is embracing the shift. Some friendships serve as a purpose for a season, while others are meant to grow with you through the decades. Segment number 5, let's talk about why friendships in your 30s are so meaningful. In your 30s, friendships take on a whole new meaning. You're more secure in who you are and what you stand for, and the friends you really choose to keep in your life are often a reflection of that. These friendships are less about convenience and more about alignment. They're built on shared values, they're built on mutual respect, and they're built on deep emotional support. Studies show that strong friendships in adulthood are directly linked to greater mental health, longevity, and overall life satisfaction. Let me quickly tell you that these are some quick signs that a friendship is right for you. You feel at ease when you're around them, mutual respect for boundaries, grow together, you can be vulnerable. Okay, remember these four things. Now, let me talk about the last segment, which is, does time, distance, or frequency of hanging out really matter in your relationships and your friendship? Let's address this question. Does the amount of time that you spend with someone or how often you see them really determine the quality of friendship? Not necessarily. Remember, quality over quantity. Often fall into this trap of thinking that the best relationships and best friendships are the ones where you hang out all the time or talk every day. It's the truth. You can see someone every single day and still feel like you have a sense of distance or lack of depth in the relationship. On the other hand, you might have a friend you only see a few times a year, once a week or once every few weeks or once a month. But when you do get together, it feels like no time has passed. I definitely have a few friendships like that. I'll also share some examples where years flew by with few friendships and we found that we were able to reconnect and start off from where we left off. And, one of my friends, I saw her after 8 years. We reconnected this year, and I think that was so cool. And it just felt like we never stopped talking. And it was not because something happened between us, it was just life stuff happening with my friend. She could move away. Then I also have another beautiful friend. She's busy. She has a different type of shifts every single day almost. And, she works in the afternoon and gets off late. And so my schedule is different. So we don't really get to see each other every single week. Sometimes couple months pass by, or sometimes we do see each other once a month. And for us, it's totally okay. It doesn't change anything for us. I know some friendships do require you to maybe see each other frequently, and they might have insecurity about that. If you don't see them, friendship is over or something's really wrong, but something could not be even wrong in your life. Or even the expectations of texting someone right away or picking up their call the first time. No, your expectations and the way you operate really changes. And if you're doing this in your 20s already, good for you, because you are already ready how things are going to be for your 30s and 40s and so on and so forth. Kind of want to bring in some secure attachment in friendships. Of course, I would do this. There's different type of attachment styles. And I personally think, because we're talking about green flags, those with secure attachment style really tend to have healthier and more stable friendships. They don't really rely on constant communication or validation because they feel secure in their connection that they have with a person. Feel comfortable giving their friends space. They trust their relationship without needing constant reassurance. They're just happy with how things are going. And, if both parties have that secure attachment, it's a great place to be in. Here's my challenge for you. Take a moment to reflect on the relationships and friendships in your life. Ask yourself, which ones feel more aligned with your values and goals? Are there any that leave you feeling unsure or even drained? Okay to reevaluate those connections and give yourself permission to release what no longer serves you. It doesn't have to always make sense to other people. It has to make sense to you. It's all part of growing the person that you're meant to be. Remember that. Also, remember, friendships in your 30s are all about quality over quantity. So nurture those relationships that really, really, truly feed your soul. Are going through a friendship breakup or feeling unsure about your relationships, a normal part of the journey. Sometimes letting go is the most aligned thing that you can do for your growth. Thank you so much for tuning in, Enrich Community. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend who might need to hear this episode too. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, besties, stay true to yourself, stay aligned, and remember, friendships that support your growth will always feel like home. Sending you so much love and positive vibes. Take care. See you next time.